Originally developed in the 1940s, this aircraft was a single-seat attack plane in use from the Cold War era all the way up to the 1980s. It accompanied rescue helicopters, assaulted enemy supply lines, and provided close air support to the ground forces. This aircraft is none other than the A-1 Skyraider. Today we'll discover why the A-1 Skyraider, known as the best attack plane ever, is deadlier than the A-10 Warthog. We'll examine the many qualities of this aircraft, as well as its several variations and its history. Therefore, make it a point to stick around until the very end. The Douglas A-1 Skyraider was one of the best assault planes of all time and a crucial aircraft utilized after World War II. It could destroy the enemy in such a way that all that was left was a grease spot. In addition, the A-1 was incredibly effective at avoiding guerrilla tactics in the Korean War, thanks to its maximum speed of 322 miles per hour, the range of 1,316 miles, and arsenal of bombs, rockets, cannons, and guns. But eventually it was replaced by more modern jet planes and it was phased out. The Douglas Skyraider was created during World War II to address the demands of the United States Navy, which understood that carrier air wings needed to be upgraded due to new weapon improvements. The first A-1 prototype, XBT-2D-1, was ordered in July 1944. Designed by Ed Heinemann of the Douglas Aircraft Company. The XBT-2D-1 was renamed the AD-1 and placed into production by December 1946. The Skyraider, named the Spad after the World War I French biplane, combined the endurance of bigger planes with the agility of smaller planes. Its 15 hardpoints allowed it to carry a huge quantity of ammunition over a longer period of time, while at the same time being agile at low speeds. As a result, the A-1, unlike speedier fighter aircraft like the boat F-4U Corsair, was ideally adapted to ground strikes. Douglas produced about 3,180 Skyraiders in 28 variants until production stopped in 1957 for various missions, including carrier-based aircraft, assault bombing, reconnaissance, airborne early warnings, and search missions. The Korean War saw 128 planes lost. The first Skyraiders landed on the Korean Peninsula in 1950, and by 1955 the U.S. Navy had 29 Skyraider squadrons in Korea. The aircraft was renamed A-1D, A-1J in 1962. The A-1 became a key asset to the U.S. at the outset of the Korean War due to its amazing weapons load and flying duration, which exceeded most other planes at the time, a staggering 10 hours of flight time at a time. Major George H. Linnemeyer and CWO Vernon S. Kramer of the Marine Corps shot down a Soviet-built Polikarpov Po-2 aircraft on June 16, 1953, becoming the sole reported Skyraider victory of the Korean War. AD Skyraiders were exclusively flown by U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps pilots for the duration of the conflict. When it came to the Skyraiders' participation in Korea, there were more losses than wins. 128 AD Skyraider aircraft were lost at the conclusion of the war, 101 in combat, and 27 due to operational faults. The operational challenges were mostly caused by the aircraft's enormous power, which was prone to mishaps while landing on aircraft carriers. An AD pilot might easily over-rotate the propeller and experience a catastrophic torque roll, which would send them into the water if they used too much throttle. The Skyraider thrived during the Vietnam War. Skyraiders from the United States Air Force were eventually posted to the 1st Air Commando Squadron in Vietnam in 1964. These planes were modified from previous variants deployed in Korea to aid in search and rescue activities. Skyraiders helped ground forces along the Ho Chi Minh Trail by spraying chemicals or assisting in the withdrawal of soldiers from hostile territory. The most well-known Skyraider squadron, known as Sandy, provided air support for search and rescue operations. Unlike other jet aircraft at the time, the A-1's ability to fly low was ideal for identifying missing individuals over a longer period without refueling. While helicopters flew in to rescue fallen men, the Sandys fought off the hostile fire. The Skyraider's massive firepower was also a valuable weapon during the Vietnam War. According to Boeing, the A-1 was the only aircraft of the time capable of dropping 8,000 pounds of bombs with pinpoint accuracy over tough targets like dams and bridges. By 1960, the U.S. was transferring several of its A-1 Skyraiders to the Republic of Vietnam Air Force. The RVNAF had acquired nearly 150 Skyraiders by 1968. Potential Vietnamese pilots were flown to NAS Corpus Christi in Texas for flying instruction by boarding the Skyraider, the Vietnamese's major aircraft during the conflict. When the United States ended its direct engagement in Vietnam in 1973, the RVNAF received all surviving Skyraiders. By this stage, many RVNAF pilots had accumulated thousands of flying hours in the A-1 Skyraider throughout the course of the conflict. Classic airframe propelling through time. The A-1 first flew when Hitler was still in power in Germany. The piston-engine prop plane entered service the next year, kicking off a spectacular career that would overlap with advanced aircraft such as the SR-71 Blackbird and the F-14 Tomcat. The A-1 was a straightforward machine. The A-1 earned a reputation for accuracy. The A-1 used toss bombing, or over-the-shoulder bombing methods, to strike tough targets mainly. Skyraider is still the best. Douglas A-1 Skyraiders have also been purchased by the United Kingdom, France, and Sweden. The aircraft was withdrawn by the United Kingdom in 1962, although it continued in limited service in France and Sweden into the 1970s. Despite its relatively short history, the Douglas A-1 Skyraider is acknowledged as one of the greatest airplanes ever built. Former U.S. Marine Corps Captain William C. Smith told HistoryNet that when he first saw the A-10 Skyraider, he wasn't impressed. "After flying Corsairs, I thought it looked like a huge aircraft with a little engine," he said. Smith didn't appreciate the Skyraider's potential until he was given a 4-hour orientation before entering action in the Korean War. When it comes to flying combat, you had to have faith in your aircraft, and after that first week, there was no doubt in my mind that our A-10s were the greatest planes in the world for the task that was required of us. Even after these years of advancement, I feel the A-10 is still the greatest aircraft ever constructed for close-in attack, better in fact than anything flying today. The A-1 was recognized for its capacity to offer close air support in addition to precision attack capability. The A-1 proved crucial in aiding soldiers on the ground because of its exceptional stability at low speeds. The A-1 became renowned in low-flying roles for its ability to take damage and continue flying. 618 pounds of extra armor plate, approximately 1/4 to 1/2 inches thick, was welded to the bottom and sides of the Skyraider's fuselage to boost its survivability during the Korean War. Despite this, over 100 A-1s were lost in action. The main operators of the A-1 at present are Cambodia, the Central African Republic, France, South Vietnam, and the United Kingdom and the United States. Is it true that the A-1 Skyraider is the finest attack aircraft that has ever been built, or is this merely a myth? If you liked this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for regular military updates. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below. Thanks for watching.